Abroad in Japan, he's got a new one. The absolute worst tourist trap in Japan, asking the question, how bad can it be?
There's a word going round right now. A word so hideous and disgusting it strikes fear into the hearts of grown men if they so much as hear it as a whisper on the wind. I shall not speak of this word. All right, I'll tell you. It's just I've got a bad enough reputation for my use of bad language as it is. What's your language? Too much swearing. Too much swearing indeed. Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
How dare you swear at us, man? How absolutely fucking dare you?
The worst word in the Japanese dictionary, and the word is over-tourism. Literally, over-tourism in English.
Ah!
Sounds so much cooler in Japanese, doesn't
Scary horse! Scary horse! Jump scared! No!
it? You've seen the headlines, you know the story. The Great Mount Fuji blocked by a wall. Foreigners riding and crashing go-karts in Tokyo. A real-life goblin on the loose, plaguing the local geisha.
I can't believe this woman. An absolute fucking kitten. She's like, oh, I have to get that shot. No, you don't. Besides, the geisha didn't even want to be photographed. This is not how you do it. Whoever this person is, I hope they are just hounded out of polite society. Never able to show their face ever again. What an awful person.
A flesh-eating bacteria spreading among the masses. What? What's that all about? Then?
Wait, sorry, what?
A rare
What?
flesh-eating bacteria
Oh,
that
good
can
God.
kill people in 48 hours is spreading in Japan.
Oh,
Terrifying
Jesus.
mortality rate. Death in 2 days. Oh, maybe it's time to go on holiday again. But wait a minute, 977 cases in the first half of 2024 out of 125 million
Oh,
people.
pfft. Yeah, come on. That's nothing. That's like barely a blip on the radar.
That's not too bad. Oh, and apparently it comes from the UK as well. And we all know nothing
Well,
that comes
shit.
from the UK could ever be bad. Nonsense. Just wash your hands a bit, innit? But look, if we are to believe the sensational news headlines, and there are many, so very many, Japan has become a real-life hellscape. It's like something between Mad Max, Mordor, and fucking Mario Kart. If I've learned anything from headlines over the years, it's that exaggeration is the name of the game. There's often
Oh,
a
yeah.
disconnect between the
Yeah, no, they totally exaggerate. It's to sell papers. It's to get people worked up so that they sell more papers and sell more ad space for the newscast and for everything else. It's the typical thing of if you don't watch the 6 o'clock news, you will die. It's always been their approach. Yeah, most of the news is just sensationalist bullshit chat. You don't have to listen to it. It's probably lies and falsehoods and half-truths anyway.
headlines and the situation on the ground. Look, I get that Japan has a record number of overseas
Yeah,
tourists
pretty
this
much.
year, but for every obnoxious geisha-tormenting goblin, the other 99% of travellers aren't this disgustingly obnoxious. And I'm
Yeah, seriously. Why want people throwing rocks at that woman, that kitten? It's just... She deserved at that point, Just throw something at them. Anything to get their attention. It's like, fucking stop it already.
at risk of becoming part of the problem by talking about it here over and over on YouTube. So that
And do you have to take selfies of every single fucking thing? Honestly, if... I take a street photographer approach to all of this. If you cannot get out your camera or your camera phone, snap a quick photograph, and then be on your way, it's not worth it. It's not worth taking the picture. If you have to take forever lining up that perfect shot, it's just not worth it. And besides, the moment it's already passed. There's a thing that used to irritate me about my father. Have this fancy camera, great photography skills. He would take forever to line up the shot. I'm just like, man, hurry up. Me, I'd get it. I'd just snap a couple, done. If it was imperfect, it was imperfect. That, lend itself to something that made the image beautiful. But, it's, don't spend all fucking day trying to line up a shot. Just turn on your camera, pull it out of your bag, snap a picture, camera back in the bag, turn it off, done. Go about your business. Me, I've always looked at that as photography is inherently intrusive in some way. And so I believe that as a photographer, you have almost this moral obligation to be as unintrusive as possible. Someone who, most people are not even aware you are filming. Because if they are aware, it is sort of subconsciously at least seen as an intrusion of some sort. So just be as unintrusive as possible. Absolutely don't be obnoxious about it. And just take the photograph and be on your way. Don't be a nuisance about it.
That ends today. I'm going out there. I'm going to take one for the team. I'm going to run the gauntlet. We're going to explore Japan's biggest, baddest tourist traps and see if they're really as apocalyptic as they're made out to be. And we're not going to just one tourist trap. We're going to 5. Tsukiji Fish Market, Harajuku, Asakusa, Nishiki Market in Kyoto, and Gion. And as we journey through each location, we'll chat with fellow travellers to see what they make of it all as well, before coming back here to reach our conclusions. It's time for our first ever abroad investigation. Gosh, I can't wait to slam a book shut at the end of the video and say, case closed.
Abroad investigates now with less sweating. Tsukiji, is it overpriced? Probably.
Tsukiji's outer market is what remains of the world's former biggest fish market, after most of it relocated 4 kilometers across the bay to Toyosu in 2018. However, the outer market is still going strong, as one of the largest street food markets in all of Tokyo. But after reading a recent article declaring tourists should avoid the market at its high prices, amidst the phenomenon of inbound don, a reference to overpriced donburi rice bowls aimed at inbound tourists, it seems what better place to kick off our first investigation.
Let's find out just how
I've been to
overpriced.
the outer market in about 5 years since I came here with Ryotaro, and I enjoy it, I like it. Don't get me wrong, it is a tourist trap.
I think I remember that
It's very
video, yeah.
touristy. And the food prices I've heard recently are exorbitant. So it's time to go full-blown detective and see just how bad these prices are.
I mean, when you get just masses of people just swarming in like that, you're going to try and push boundaries as a business owner there. You're going to try and jack up your prices just as high as you can, just to see what you can get away with. But there's a limit. You can only raise them up so much before people start to get wise to that sort of thing, and you have to bring them back down again.
It's not long before we have ourselves a lead as our first suspect shows up, the aforementioned inbound don. What the? 7,700 yen. I can
What?
scarcely believe it. That's why I need this bloody magnifying glass, because it's such a ridiculous price.
That is
Some say-
ridiculous. That's like what, at current exchange rate is like roughly what, $50? The old exchange rate, that'd be about 75. That is insanity. That is an ungodly price to pay for that. I would not pay that much for that. No, I'd tell them to fuck off and go find something else to eat.
Of reference, a bowl of uni typically costs around 3,000 to 4,000 yen in most restaurants in Tokyo.
Yeah. Inbound on $40 for that. And then you go find the regular don. It's 16. Yeah, give me 16 any day. $40, fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Likewise,
And go
another
shit in your hat
nearby
while you're
shop
at
selling
it.
Cuts of fatty tuna is charging 5,000 yen for 4 pieces. Granted, it's the most expensive cut of tuna, but even in a mid-range
What?
sushi restaurant, you'd expect to pay about half the price for the exact same thing. And with
Insanity.
table service thrown in. I've seen some really
That's mad.
expensive bowls of uni at like 6,000 yen. There was one that was 22,000 yen down the street a minute ago. I spoke to the woman that ran the shop
No.
and she said they were organic, so maybe that's the reason why. But I think
Oh,
when you
please. You can say anything's organic these days. That's just another excuse to mark things up. It's a rip-off. It's a gigantic middle and upper class rip-off.
come to a street market, you're expecting bargains, right? And here in Tsukiji, while you can expect all the food in the world, you can try pretty much any Japanese dish going. The number of bargains are few and far between, so bear that in mind. So far today, everything I've seen has been on the pricey side.
Yeah, here you go. Top tips. Stay away from the Tsukiji market. chat. Just don't even bother going there. Everything that you see on the menu you can find all across town for far cheaper.
Street market anyway.
I'll admit I hope to eat some breakfast here at Skiji today, but I'll be damned if I'm paying for an overpriced fish bowl. Fortunately though, I soon lay my greedy
Yeah, no,
eyes
fuck
upon
that.
an unagi eel stand, with the scent of the salty, sticky sweet eel sauce wafting through the market. And it's actually at a reasonable price. Surely it's too good to be true. Is this really the good stuff?
So unagi is one of the most expensive fish
I mean,
in Japan. It's
looks
about
all
1,000 yen.
right.
That's a lot of bang for your buck. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's interesting, in Kanazawa Fish Market, it was 500 yen for one stick. Of
Yeah,
unagi.
go over to Kanazawa.
But I don't think there was as much as this. So, yes, it's a little bit pricey here, but you do get a lot of bang for your buck, and it is quite good.
All right then.
Unagi's so good. I'd like to point out the reason everything is red is not because there's been a bloodbath, because of these low prices, but because there's a massive red sheet above us. I think most foreign tourists coming here might overlook eel because it's not a very nice sounding dish, but actually, best value fish I've had in the market.
No, that
today.
eel is actually quite
And it tastes
tasty.
amazing.
You know, I'm really starting to enjoy this investigation, especially as I soon run into Griffin, an awesome American viewer who's enjoyed a seafood bowl, but quickly realised there's a far more tantalisingly priced alternative awaiting fellow travellers.
So I got that Family Mart chicken because of you.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Good I mean, you don't need anything more than the Family Mart chicken. Let's be real. Like, what?
Look at that. $1.40 or £1.10 for Family Chicky. What more do you need in life? That, bottle of Bacardi Sweat, job done. That's all you need. There's your meal right there.
Wise man. Griffin, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And don't eat too much chicken, God forbid.
Ugh, no
Don't do it.
promises.
So, would I actually recommend Skiji? Surprisingly, yes. The atmosphere is still a ton of fun. I love getting lost down the market's many
You look
retro
creepy.
sides
No,
and
get away.
Hell, it wasn't even as crowded as I remember. Perhaps as the new modern Toyosu market has stolen away potential customers and tourists. Just make sure you do your homework and have a rough idea what you should be paying, so you don't walk away from Skiji with a hole in your wallet.
Just
when
stay
it
the
comes
hell
to
away from
seafood bowls
from
and sushi.
Tsukiji.
And so, with the touristy Skiji proving not to be quite as bad as I'd initially feared, it's time to switch the game difficulty straight to hard mode. That's right, it's time for...
Oh god, Harajuku. Yes. Is it overhyped?
Oh, right, so
Possibly. I have been up and down Takeshita Street multiple times. I've shopped in some of the shops there. I even went to the Daiso there that's on Takeshita Street in Harajuku. I even visited an animal cafe. It was more than just a cat cafe. It was like a small petting zoo that doubled it as a cafe. Even got to sit next to and pet a large capybara. Rather sweet creature, it really was, and very gentle and just rather slow moving and lumbering, but it was a very kindly sort of creature, almost domesticated. You Brits always have creative ways of describing scumbags. Yes, plonkers, wankers, gits.
Wondering, why do I hate Harajuku so much? And the truth is, it stands against everything that I believe in. Shopping, fashion, most importantly, fun. I despise it all. Still, no...
Well, that's where he and I differ. I rather like fun, but you're looking for crepes, chat. Probably cheaper ones and probably even tastier ones than the crepe. They've got so many fucking crepe shops there in Harajuku. It's insane. It's I don't know, and I don't think they're worth it. They sort of look like you can get crepes anywhere these days. I don't know what's so special about crepes in Harajuku. So, indeed, cunt. Yeah, welcome in, Brit.
No scientific investigation of Japan's over-tourism would be complete without plunging headfirst into the Technicolor shit-show nightmare that is Takeshita Street. Said to be the birthplace of Japan's kawaii culture, a style that places emphasis on cuteness that has since gained traction around the world, creating offshoots such as Kimo Kawaii, referring to something so gross it's actually cute.
And speaking
What?
of Kimmel Kawaii, I found the perfect person to help me trek these cursed streets.
Oh,
I'm sure as hell
him.
not doing it by myself.
Takeshita Street, shopping.
Fan
capital
gang, let's
of Tokyo.
go.
Not just my least favourite place in Japan, but perhaps in the known universe. When you get to come to your least favourite place, you get to have a side character. We've got. Hey,
Thanks a lot, Takeshita Dori.
help me, Pete.
This is one of the most horrific places for two men nearing 40 years old. We don't belong here. We don't know what we're doing here. There's no good food here. And by God, I'm sober.
They got candy floss.
I'm in.
Well, shit.
Okay.
That's awful.
And so, as two men with an average age of 40 trek down the streets of their own midlife crisis, we engage in all that Harajuku has to offer, like fashion.
Welcome to my underground lair.
Oh,
It
God.
is appealing if you were maybe in middle school or high school. It has a lot of like counterculture and clothing stores, none of which would fit us.
No.
But not every face on Takeshita Street is as sour as these two disgruntled YouTubers, as we run into some viewers who have a more positive outlook on Tokyo's fashion capital.
This is like kind of considered a
This
bit
is
of a tourist trap.
this is the Venice Beach.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
But are you guys enjoying it still?
Is it, though? I mean, is it really?
Yeah,
I would.
totally.
Yeah.
Super fun, lots of cool shops, cool fashion.
Yeah.
And you get to run into Pete as well.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't want to take up too much of the space, but they are here to see me. It's pretty good. I hang out. No, I'm kidding. But
And so we soldier on. What better way to understand whether Harajuku is overhyped or not than by trying some of the horrific local street foods that plague Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, yay. Rainbow-colored sugar cloud.
So wait, what's the practical way of eating this? Because when I was a kid, it was just on a little stick, and you had a little bit.
I'll be fucked if I know, Pete. You're the expert.
Yes.
This is American tradition.
It is.
Diabetes.
You've seen the movie Alien with the face hugger. It's the same.
Oh, his glasses got stuck.
Character.
I have to wear
There you go.
There you go.
Pete's new friend. He's
Oh,
on his journey. It tastes
his
quite good.
face is going to be so sticky when he puts those back
That's
on.
all this is.
Actually. Don't judge me.
I like, yeah, they're good lads,
Content
both of them.
acknowledged that today was surely worth it. We head on to search for the final atrocity, dish. One might say a treasure, the end of the rainbow. A
What the
macabre
hell?
rainbow cheese shit show sandwich, more food colouring than food.
So I've got a bit of a reputation
what?
for eating anything with cheese in it. But even
Okay,
this
I
thing
never encountered this in all the
stretches
times I've been to
boundaries of my
Harajuku.
imagination And my depravity. Look at this.
Garlic
Rainbow
butter potato
cheese
rolls.
Sandwich.
Crunched
Very good.
chocolate bananas. A cheese corn dog. I mean, that's not a bad price. 700 yen for a cheese corn dog. Yeah, that's all right. Potato rolls, 7. Okay. Well, at least the prices aren't too terribly, but I don't know, though. The 1,000 yen for rainbow cheese sandwich. It's a rainbow grilled cheese. It's a rainbow toasty. It's, yeah, 1,000 yen for that. Seems like you're paying more for the food coloring than anything else. It's a gay pride sandwich. Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. Yeah, they probably did quite the business there during Pride Month.
No, but the grilled cheese sandwich
Still,
is my favorite food.
1,000
and I
yen.
like
That
pizza.
seems a
Even in
bit
rainbow.
much. That's honestly, if it were 500 yen, yeah, then we could talk. But 1,000 yen for that? Nah. It's starting to venture into daylight robbery territory, isn't it?
Even in rainbow form. I feel like there's no way we could possibly mess this up. This might be a clinical disaster. But
Oh my god. It doesn't even look like cheese. It looks like multicolored marshmallow cream.
Oh, this is horrible.
That just looks like a long stretch of taffy of fruit striped gum.
The question is, how do they colour the cheese? Because it is cheese, it's mozzarella cheese, right?
this is not cheese.
Okay.
This is an edible form of plastic.
Yeah, cheese does not. Something tells me cheese does not take to food coloring very well. Yeah, and Japan, to a certain extent, has always had a difficulty with cheese. Many of their cheese selections have not been very good. unfortunately.
That has been colored to suit a cheese-like substance. This is not food.
Look!
It's almost like the Kraft singles. It's sort of a pasteurized cheese product or something. Yeah, and from this angle, that does look suspiciously like melted plastic. That is plasticky unfantasticky there.
That's not cheese. You can't do that. Looks like a fruit roll-up.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh dear, certainly a lunch befitting of Harajuku.
Thank you, Pete, for being my bodyguard / side character friend for this ordeal. Did you enjoy your afternoon in Harajuku?
Yep. Just 5 short minutes down the street, and we gained 14 pounds.
Oh,
It was
God.
great. You know, I
It's
actually
not
enjoyed
wrong.
this quite a bit. My memory of Harajuku initially was dread. When you told me, come meet me for the day, I was like, I don't really like this place. But given the context, I actually had a good time today. Thanks for bringing me along.
Was it the company or was it the rainbow cheese?
I think it was the company this time, not the rainbow cheese.
Lovely, lovely.
So,
I hate to admit it that we had fun.
I did. Oh, thanks. Best friends.
Because it's Harajuku.
He hates to admit it. It's such a struggle. It's like, damn it, we had fun. Can't believe it. Curses.
Well, guys, we've had some very interesting Japanese dishes so far today, but what happens if you can't come to Japan and try the tasty goodness all for yourself? There's a way you can enjoy Japanese treats from the comfort of your own home. Thanks to today's sponsor, Sakurako.
No. This lot.
Sakurako is
Okay.
a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local snack makers with each box packed full of 20
Because I like
traditional
Chris Broad,
authentic Japanese
we
treats,
will
including teas,
bear through the
easily
commercial
tableware.
here.
And this month's theme is close to my heart as it's themed around the festivals of Tohoku, the stunning region in North Japan and home to some of the liveliest celebrations in the country throughout the summer season.
Oh,
the
yeah.
box begins with this beautiful booklet exploring the stories of each and every snack featured within the box, as well as the
presentation.
all-important allergy information. And the box ends, as always, in my mouth, starting with pear gummies from Yamagata. Whenever I used to go
Ooh, pear
to Sendai
flavoured.
and Yamagata to visit Natsuki, I'd pick these up along the way. Yamagata's famous for its fresh fruit, and by putting it in gummy sweets,
La
they've
France
worked out the perfect
gummy.
way to deliver that fresh fruit delight. That's so good, my God. Next up, we have walnut mochi, kurumi mochi, and so this is an awesome blend of mochi rice cake and soy sauce, and it's in an edible wrapping paper. I love it. It's got that chewiness and also the crunchiness of the walnuts as you take each and every bite. Bloody good. Disturbingly satisfying. And what better way to wash all that down than
Disturbingly.
Iemon matcha genmaicha tea from Kyoto, featuring roasted rice and green tea. I feel like I've been transported to the tea fields of Kyoto.
Roasted rice, sencha,
And
and
this month we've
matcha.
got this charming Neko Tenaguri
Sounds tasty.
cat hand towel, which is just the ticket to mop my brow after eating all these delicious snacks. Too delicious, some might say. Whether you're looking to gift your new best friend a box of the finest Japanese snacks,
He
or
does
greet
great
him
ad
with
reads.
your
He really
favorite
does.
you can
It's
grab
quite
your
good.
box from Sakurako in the link in the description box below.
I mean, really, that's what he's in.
Our next
Is
stop is
he's
perhaps
in the ad
Tokyo's biggest
business.
tourist magnet, Asakusa,
He's in the advertising and
historically
marketing
culturally
business
important district
as a content
surrounding the
creator.
Grand Sensoji Temple. Top of most travellers' itineraries, the more traditional back streets are blighted with tacky gift shops at every turn, but perhaps that's half the charm. If anywhere in Tokyo is the focus of over-tourism, it's certainly here. But despite that, is it still worth
Oh,
a
yeah.
visit? It looks like another job for Abroad Investigations.
Oh yes, Asakusa, very, very over touristy.
So here we are at Kaminarimon, literally Thundergate.
He makes it
And
entertaining,
leads
as he
straight
should.
and turn to Sensoji Temple, the largest temple in Tokyo. Love it here, really cool area, but make no mistake, it probably is the busiest point in Tokyo.
It's
And now we must begin
insanity, the
navigating
amount of crowds day in and day out.
Historically, the area around Nakamise Shopping Street used to be one of Tokyo's largest entertainment.
Oh yeah, and fun bit of trivia, you see people walking around in kimono. Normally, number one, that's yukata. And there's only like 1 or 2 times per year that actual Japanese wear a kimono or yukata to a temple or to a shrine. And most of the time you see someone out there in traditional Japanese dress like that, more than likely they are tourists. More than likely. Or so I've been told from tour guides that that sort of let us in on the inside scoop about that sort of thing.
with kabuki theatres and other less savoury forms of entertainment on hand. Nowadays, as you swim through the sea of people clamouring to take a selfie next to the iconic gate,
He makes it entertaining. He
it's
does. He really
impossible to
does.
move, let alone enjoy any degree of cultural enlightenment.
Japan, a land of cultural, historic culture. What better place to sell cartoon costume moustaches? Who comes to Sensoji Temple and thinks, yes, what I want today is a moustache to stick onto my face? What a weird shot. When we came
Oh,
down here, made a
God.
video a few years ago, we came to the conclusion
Tell me you're a tourist trap without telling me you're a tourist trap.
it's nicer in the evening. You can enjoy the Sensoji Temple.
Oh,
yourself
yes.
and avoid
No,
the
that is
crowds
smart.
And the shops. For pure photography, I prefer night.
Yeah. Nighttime, most of these are closed up, but it's just visually, it's a treat for the eyes. And who cares if the weather's is rainy or even snowing? That just adds to the beauty of just the surroundings.
Still, the allure of Sensoji's atmospheric streets seems to outweigh the crowds, at least for the viewers I meet wandering down Nakamise Street.
Have you guys enjoyed it so far? Would you recommend it? Actually coming here?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, the stalls they are touristy, but there's quite nice little trinkets.
And you don't mind the crowds and things like that?
The crowds
Okay, for an hour or two.
for an hour or two, yeah.
I think it's quite authentic. It's quite cool. You know, people think it's like a tourist trap, but like I think it's a fun experience.
Fun experience. Yeah. Have you bought anything today? Have you spent anything? Any money on
I
anything?
bought this amazake.
Amazake, non-alcoholic sake. That's a good shot. Where'd you get that? I might have to get some for myself.
Okay, that's clever.
Still,
Non-alcoholic
the crowds of
sake.
Nakamise
I'd
Street
try that
are
once.
tantamount to an intensive cattle farming experience. Head off down one of the quieter side streets that surround Asakusa, and the district quickly redeems itself, especially when there's delicious treats.
Yeah,
to eat.
now you're talking.
Japanese potato croquettes in a ring. Now I've seen everything. It's also the perfect way to propose to your other half. My favourite thing about coming to Asakusa isn't the temples, the shrine of the culture. It's seeing the increasingly bizarre food they come up with. Like every week there's something new.
Potato
Well,
rings.
a little bit dry,
New
but-
from the inventors of onion
If you'd
rings.
asked me a couple of weeks ago, would I recommend Asakusa and the Sensoji Temple? I would have been like, yeah, sure, go. It's a cool place. And yet now, after doing every single stop on the Yamanote line, right, a few weeks ago, and exploring places where you can have all of this, where you can have like temples and shrines all to yourself, I don't know if I would recommend it anymore. I don't know. So yeah, Asakusa.
Yeah, there's
give it a visit,
alternatives.
but know that there are places where you can kind of relax a bit more and enjoy the temples and shrines and have them all to yourself, not that far from here. But of course, no, at those places you can't have a potato in the shape of a ring.
Always trade-offs, isn't there?
Just as I'm about to set off for Kyoto, some awesome viewers spot me at the side of the road. Unfortunately, in this case, stuffing my face with a potato ring. And it's to them that I'll leave the closing
timing.
thoughts on Asakusa as a tourist destination.
Do you think it's worth coming here?
I think so.
This is our first time.
So first time.
I think so.
It's kind of tough for people on wheelchair. This is life. This is
Oh,
what
good
we
for
have.
them, though.
But I think it
Jolly well
exceeded my
done.
expectations.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear. And I feel bad standing here like stuffing my face with this like potato ring.
Hey, if you're hungry, you're hungry.
Have a good one.
I mean, yeah, it's okay. We should probably make a more nuanced point here. Asakusa Temple, go see it once. Just the once. Just to say you did. Future trips, however, there's alternatives in the area. So that's probably a more nuanced take to put out there. And I happen to believe that myself. You know, go there once, just to say you did, but then later on, there's so many other great things to see that is, yeah, that's not too much of a tourist trap. Asakusa really has become a tourist trap, and it's kind of a shame, really.
Well, so far, despite all the apocalyptic headlines, I somehow remain relatively unscathed from my travels. Albeit some nasty indigestion from the rainbow cheese sandwich.
Ugh.
My God, never again. But no
I have to wonder if that's going to turn your poo rainbow-colored.
investigation of Japan's worst tourist traps, and over-tourism in general, would be complete without visiting the scene of the crime itself, Kyoto. And so I hop on the Shinkansen and head 2.5 hours west to see just how bad the streets have gotten. As I ride the Shinkansen, I'm overcome with fear. Will I be swept away in a river of tourists? Will I survive the crowds unscathed? Well, yes, because there's nobody here. Where the bloody hell is everyone? This is right in front of Kyoto Station.
Here we are, Kyoto. We're at Higashi Hongan.
Sounds like the headlines have done their job. Honestly, I think it's a bit of psychological warfare that the so-called mainstream media has conducted on the global population. Someone somewhere all of a sudden realized, oh shit, we've got too many people here. We need to scare them off. So start talking about over-tourism and make it seem like it's this terrible, horrible thing, and that there's just a sea of people and you're going to get carried away by them, and it's just going to be an awful experience. And maybe that'll start to depress the numbers of tourists. Looks like it's worked. People fell for it. Because there's a lot of stupid people out there.
Ganji Temple. Look at that. Nobody here. What over tourism. And in fact, this site, as well as being here since the 17th century, it's got the 5th biggest bell in all of Japan. The first biggest bell, of course, is in Sendai, and it's called Ryotaro Sakurai.
Okay, Kyoto might not be the ghost town I've made it out.
Oh.
I've simply just stumbled across one of the many spectacular
Clever way of calling a
towns
bell
that
end.
doesn't really make the guidebooks. So instead then, let's see how we fare at the most crowded spot downtown.
Nishiki Market. Is it too busy? Let's
Dating
find
back
out.
over 400 years and affectionately referred to as Kyoto's Kitchen. Our first stop in Kyoto is Nishiki Market, which resides down a single narrow bustling street, 5 blocks long and jam-packed with over 100 shops and restaurants, serving everything from fresh fish and meat to confectionery and sake.
Oh, those
Unlike
look good.
Tsukiji, which is spread across a whole neighbourhood, Nishiki feels far more intense given it's just the one strip. Still, how do the prices here compare to the preposterous inbound...
Wait, hang on.
Just the one strip. Still, how do the prices here compare?
500 yen for a mountain of fries. That's the bargain of the century. Ah,
To the preposterous
a whole mountain of
found on our
chips.
first outing.
Ah, I
Once
love
again,
it.
Let the eating, investigating, begin.
Nishiki Market, I've always wanted to come here, but painfully aware that it is probably the busiest market in Japan. I've always avoided it. Question is it worth it? Is it worth a visit? We're about to find out once I've battled my way through this crowd.
We're truly spoilt for choice in Nishiki Market, but perhaps, unsurprisingly, the first thing that catches my eye, or rather my nose, are the buttery Wagyu skewers, sizzling away on a
Oh. Oh.
Skewers, 2,500 yen a skewer. It's not cheap, but if it's real, actual Kobe gyu, then it is worth it. And that's
Yes.
a good price. Smells
Agreed.
Pretty reassuring.
Fuck me, I've only
No,
been
that
in
is worth
Nishiki
£12.
Market 5 minutes, and I've already splashed out 5,000 yen on 2 skewers of so-called Kobe beef. This had better be good.
It's good, but it's not A5 Kobe gyu. Tastes good, but it's a bit chewy. Would I get
Ah, damn it.
Chewier than Wrigley's chewing gum. The beef wasn't
Damn
like
it all.
what you imagine Kobe gyu to be like, or Wagyu in general. It was quite chewy, almost like British beef, you know. Back when we were in Takayama last year, I had an A5 Wagyu on a stick. For
At least Boris
600
Johnson
yen.
would
It was
approve.
Incredible, like a dream. This place was 2,500 yen for a lesser cut of beef. It said out front Kobe
Oh,
gyu.
yeah,
right?
that's a
Kobe
cash
Wagyu
grab.
beef.
Come
There's a nice
on.
cut of an A5 looking Kobe gyu in plastic form out front. So I thought, it's going to be that. It wasn't. Whatever it was,
No.
it was pretty chewy and well seasoned, but be careful. I find
Look for
Wagyu is one of
A5.
the most
There's your top
misleadingly
tip,
advertised
chat.
kind of dishes you'll find in Japan. And
Oh, look at that. That looks like, what's that? Bits of garlic and then some roe on top. Damn, that looks posh.
that was certainly not worth 2,500 yen. Absolute rip-off. Be careful.
Oh dear, given I've blown most of my pocket money on a skewer of Wagyu beef, I'd probably decide to drown my sorrows at a store selling obscenely cheap sake.
I love these overflow cups because when you spill it, inevitably it just goes into the cup beneath, which you can also drink from. Ah, my God, 100 yen for this. And it's not one cup sake, this is the real deal.
Oh, thank God.
That makes up for the Wagyu, that really does. I have to say, Nishiki Market is nowhere near as busy as I thought.
And that is a generously sized shot cup of sake. 100 yen for that? That is a good bargain. That's actually a good deal.
Would be, But yeah, maybe it's because it's summer. I don't know, but it's actually not that busy here. I hope I don't regret drinking all this sake on a mostly empty stomach, especially again.
Probably because it is summer. I mean, summers in most of Japan get just unbearably hot. It's only when you start heading north past Sendai and into Hokkaido that it becomes tolerable.
Going to Gion next, the respectable geisha district. It's not going to end well, is it? There's going to be some new news stories coming out in a few hours' time.
Memoirs of a
Full of refreshing
scumbag.
sake and billion-dollar beef. It's nearly time to head to our next tourist hotspot, but something feels amiss. I genuinely expected Nishiki to be unbearably crowded, and it's been anything but. And so I seek out a couple of shopkeepers.
People are
try
starting
and
to get the
discover why
message.
Things are so oddly quiet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, Monday.
そうですね、今日ちょっと少ないです。なんでですか？なんでだろう。そうですね、いつもはもっと混んでます。今日まだ月曜日だから。
That's really interesting. I've spoken to two shopkeepers now, and they both said weekdays, Nishiki Market really isn't that busy. They almost sounded disappointed. So if you want to come here, avoid the weekends because this
Yeah,
place,
come during the
I
middle
thought-
of the week or on a Monday when everyone's back to work. And, yeah, but also the possibility that, I mean, the economy in general is just shit right now. And it's that way across most of the world.
like the busiest market in Japan is actually kind of calm. So drink the sake, avoid the wagyu, and eat the daifuku strawberry mochi rice cake.
Oh, that
And
does sound
now-
tasty.
It's time to go to Gion, so we can spot any geisha. Just kidding. We're not going to harass them like
Yeah,
everyone else.
no, please don't do that. Our tourist welcome in Gion.
So here we are in Gion, the
Seems
entertainment
like
capital
they
of
are.
Kyoto. And if over-tourism was a misdemeanor, this would be the absolute scene of the crime. Earlier on this year, they did close down a few of the roads to tourists to protect that historic quarter, that historic neighbourhood where the geishas still live, work, operate. What I will say today, though,
It's sort of like Okinawa with American servicemen. There are some streets, some neighborhoods, just some parts of the island that they're not welcome. You can't go there. And I believe it's the same way over in Yokohama with the naval base that's there. There's some signs you'll see them where they just say, "Servicemen, do not enter. Don't even think about going through here," because they've had too many issues. Locals have complained, or they've had certain incidents. I mean, they've also had documented cases of like sexual assault and other crimes committed allegedly by, and sometimes even found guilty of members of the service to just mistreating the locals, and yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's almost a form of segregation, where if you are a U.S. or foreign member of a military service, you are not allowed through certain streets. You're not allowed in certain neighborhoods. And if they catch you there, it's going to be trouble.
is the only crime I've seen so far has been the daylight robbery that was the Wagyu.
Recommended places in Hokkaido. Sapporo is one of the obvious choices. And then, let's see here. What's the name of that? Got to look this up on the map. Give me a moment. Let's go to Japan. Hakodate. That's the other one. Hakodate is actually where the Shinkansen comes to an end, and the regular train lines begin up towards Sapporo. But yeah, the two that I can think of offhand, places to visit, Sapporo, obviously, because it's one of the biggest cities there in Hokkaido, but Hakodate is not too bad. They've got a brand new train station there that is the end of the line for the Shinkansen, and a lot of things are being built up in the area around Hakodate Station. So definitely worth at least a day trip to Hakodate. But so much more to do in Sapporo. And if you find yourself in the market for a good tailored suit, fairly decent prices at the Daimaru department store in there in Sapporo. I think it's actually fairly close to the downtown. Sort of centrally located. So yeah, definitely recommend that.
Beef costing 2,500 yen on a stick. I was robbed. I was robbed in Kyoto. That should be the title of this video.
Anyway, rant aside, let's go and have a look at Gion and see what the situation is.
Hey, he's
The
robbed,
area
didn't he?
in the street where people can't film anymore, which is going to make filming this certainly rather interesting.
Just keep it on the DL, mate.
This is new. There's a sign here sort of warning people what not to do. For example, please understand, Maiko, geisha, it's a true profession. Have respect. Don't walk around where they work impersonating Maiko for photo ops. Impersonation? I haven't seen that before. I've seen Maiko being chased down the street, but never like impersonated. Don't sit on the bridge and don't sit on the fence. Just like we saw.
Yeah, those
people
bridge
doing on the
railings,
bridge
those
moments ago. Clearly, the
fairly certain. Yeah, what are those made out of? Wood? Looks like it. Yeah, those are not rated to support the weight of human beings. Fairly certain about that. If you need to grab it with your hand, that's one thing. But to sit on it like that, put your full weight of your body, it's going to break. Somebody's going to fall into the water and hurt themselves.
the sign is not as effective as people would like.
At the heart of Kyoto's over-tourism woes lies Hanamikoji Street, a kilometre-long street instantly recognisable as much for its characterful Ochaya tea houses as the many threatening signs that linger on every corner, warning tourists to refrain from photography lest they be fined several thousand yen. As we mentioned at the start of the episode, after several well-publicised incidents of tourists disturbing private property and harassing geisha, a ban has been put in place on many of the private alleyways, prohibiting non-residents from entering. It's time to wander down the street, which is perfectly fine, and see what we can find. And in order to respect the rules, obviously, we won't be filming it, so you're going to have to take my word as gospel. Trust me on this one.
Having to use
That was
stock
encouraging. Just
footage.
took a stroll down Hanamikoji Street, spotted one Maiko, and only saw a handful of folks get their phones out and sneak a photo in. Actually, people were a lot more respectful than previous times that I've had a stroll.
I
down
mean,
that
you
street.
can
So,
get
yeah.
around it if you keep it on the down low. You don't. Again, be inconspicuous about it. There's that was one of the reasons why, for a long time, with certain press conferences and stuff like that in Europe, certain European countries, photographers were restricted on what sort of cameras they could bring in, to the point where they could only use Leica cameras because the click of the shutter was so soft and so quiet, whereas everything else was just so loud and obnoxious. It's the same way. Just, be sly about it, be on the down, just keep it on the down low, and don't make a spectacle of yourself. And, just you have to learn to adopt a lot of the qualities of a really good street photographer, that's able to capture the shot quickly and just not bring attention to yourself to where people don't even realize that you're doing it. And of course, don't obviously we say all that, and don't be weird about it, and definitely don't do anything perverted or illegal, but really good artistic street photography. We need to specify that. Artistic street photography, the creation of art through the medium of photography, is one where you're not aware of the photographer's presence, and is the capturing of natural imagery, the capturing of life in motion, just capturing that one brief moment. But yeah, don't be a dick about it.
Definitely seems to be a change, so that's a good thing. Very encouraging stuff. Only saw one Maiko get run over in a go-kart.
Reassured by my Hanamakoji street stroll, and once again surprised at how oddly peaceful my trip to Kyoto has been so far. We head to the final boss battle, up the mountainside towards the Kiyomizudera Temple and the city's ultimate photo spot along the way.
So we're in Higashiyama now, and this is the busiest place in Kyoto, with rickshaws, all the rickshaws. There we go. It is certainly busy, but the approach up to the Yasuka Pagoda can't be beat. What a beautiful view. Oh God, not beef again. Not again. It's 1,000 yen here. 2,000 yen for Miyazaki. Fucking 4,000 yen. 4,000 yen for Corby beef.
Daylight
Is
robbery.
it really Corby beef? Do I want to get ripped off again?
No.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
People come
Smart
all
man.
over the world to get a photo of Kyoto Starbucks, made entirely from wood. It's quite the sight. I will say the first time I saw it, I had mixed feelings. I was like, is this the place you want to put a Starbucks? They've made it blend in rather well, and the crowds love it, and that's all that matters.
At least it's blending in. Still,
We barely reached the end of our journey as we rush up the mountain to the soon-to-be closing.
I mean, if that is the highlight of your trip is, oh, I got to go to the Starbucks in Kyoto. May I suggest that your priorities are just all out of sorts?
Kiyomizudera Temple, I run into Kazu, a viewer who's on holiday in Japan and who seems to be surprised by the lack of overcrowding on Kyoto's streets this afternoon.
How's it been, like, generally?
Generally, today, I don't know, I felt like a little bit quieter. Yeah.
I found that. It's weird.
I
Where's
saw
it
like
from?
because a lot of people said like a lot of tourist people,
Yeah.
but no, it's really comfortable.
Maybe it's Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Power of Monday.
Monday, yeah, and also rain season.
And rain.
Yeah.
Oh, well, guys, we made it up to the Kiyomizudera Temple. What a reward. Stunning view. That was really interesting. I just spoke to Kazu, a Japanese guy living in the UK, and he's back here on holiday.
Makes sense there'd be a tailor there since Hokkaido's mostly business folk, right? Yes and no. I mean, there's a variety of different people, but yeah, probably a lot of business people in and out of Sapporo Station nearby. So that's not too surprising, and lots of mid-rise and high-rise skyscrapers and things like that in the area. So yeah, but yeah, very decent prices. A bit more expensive than what you would find in, say, Thailand, Vietnam, or Malaysia, but and probably more expensive still than what you'd find in Hong Kong. But I mean, it's not bad. I think about $600-700 US will get you either made to measure or fully bespoke suit. Not too bad. Late response, sorry, forgot to send. Oh, it's all right.
Holiday, and he proposed the reason Kyoto was so quiet in June is because it's rainy season. People don't come out for that, which is something I'd never actually thought of. So what I've learned today is A, come to
rain will
Kyoto
put a damper on
Monday,
things.
B, come to Kyoto in June, well, it's quite hot, and C, don't buy the overpriced Waikiki beef. Never do that.
There you
Okay,
have
so
it.
here's what we've learned. Japan might not be Mad Max meets Mordor after all. Honestly, I expected to be stuck in a literal, immovable crowd several times today, and it only happened once. Still, I'd say we came away with 5 useful tips for travellers coming to Japan. Number 1, avoid Kyoto at weekends. It's actually not too bad
There
on the
we go.
weekdays, we saw and heard
Yeah,
from the shopkeepers
weekdays.
wanting more customers. Number 2, Harajuku is still awful.
Especially if you hate
Really
crowds.
quite awful. I honestly never want to go there and eat edible rainbow filth.
Don't
ever again.
don't eat the rainbow
If I do
cheese
go
now.
back, God forbid, I'll be sure to take P. You could really tell he was having a great time. Number 3, Asakusa isn't quite as good as I remember. It's a nice district, but during the day it's absurdly
night.
overcrowded.
Yeah.
If you actually want to feel moved, maybe visit one of Tokyo's 4,000 temples and shrines that aren't like a football stadium, or go in the evening after 8 PM when the shops are shut and you can enjoy the Sensoji Temple in a more relaxed atmosphere. Number 4, Tsukiji Market still rules when it comes to street food, and actually the only really overpriced thing we found were the ludicrously priced seafood bowls. And number 5, don't blow all your pocket money on the Wagyu beef at Nishiki Market, but do go to the market itself. It actually turned out to be my favourite of the 5 locations we visited on this trip. Honestly, I wish I could have spent all day standing around drinking reasonably priced sake. But I have to say, I came back from this overall investigation reassured that amidst Japan's kind of...
Don't eat anything, just drink sake.
The worst tourist traps in the country are still remarkably bearable. Well,
Nearly all.
Luna Wolf,
And so
thank
as
you
we
for redeeming
conclude
Not
our first
First.
episode of a broad
Hello.
investigation, there's only one thing left to say, and that is... Case closed. Fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Watch your language. Too much swearing. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about the Swez Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have any thoughts, questions, or ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. You can also follow me on Twitter @LordRexworth for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. And if you want to support the channel, check out my Coffee or Throne pages. Links are in the description. Finally, be sure to visit LordRexworth.com and follow me across all platforms. That's LordRexworth.com. Until next time, I wish you all the best, and God bless.